What's up, everybody? It is Saturday, August 12th, 2017, and it's been 2,896 days since the U beat FSU in football. Uh, got 2 days worth of sports information for you. Um, I figured we'd get enough in today, so that's good there. Um, I try not to bring outside politics unless it's directly related to sports in here. Um, But I thought it was interesting what happened in Virginia today, Charlottesville to be exact, where white supremacist groups, uh, and I think the Klan were demonstrating out there, demonstrating their right to vote and their desire to make America great again with white supremacy. Um, there hasn't been a lot of response or uh, backlash from anything outside of the black community, anything outside of the black community, not in the black community, outside of the black community, about how crazy, or not crazy, lack of a better word, how bad this looks. Um, Also, a gentleman drove his car through a crowd. I think he injured or hurt three people, injured or killed three people, and there was fighting and what have you, and three people died and people were injured. Don't have the specifics concerning injured or died, but I think America needs to get a hold of what's going on. And when I say America, I mean the powers that be need to get a hold on what's going on here and quit trying to either deflect or not say anything at all about the situation. It's not a black versus white thing. It can be a white versus the government. It's clear that it's been looking like the cops versus blacks in certain situations. But, without trying to point fingers at this and that, I think somebody needs to step up and try to figure out how to fix relations here. But unfortunately, I just think things are going to get worse because no, I don't think anybody's being sensible about the situation. That this country divided is not better off, um, and I think they're not getting that. And I think thought process is this that the government is focused on. We're just going to do it the way we're going to do it, and whatever they have to do to make sure it goes that way, that's what they're going to do. So if it means uh, pushing minorities to the wayside and uh, allowing certain things to go, then that's where the problems are going to be. Um, and again, this part of this whole thing is just what Colin Kaepernick was. It's part of a microcosm of what Colin Kaepernick was protesting. It wasn't just cops killing blacks, but it was about the government allowing now things happening that should be happening. And um, if they don't get it together, it's going to get worse. And unfortunately, I see that that's what's going to happen. It's just going to get worse. So, in this time now, people really need to pray and take stock on doing the right thing and focus on that. Um, we just got to learn how to try to live together. I mean, we're all here together, regardless of how you got here. You call yourself the United States of America, you got to do better than what's going on. But right now, it doesn't look like anybody's trying to do that. So, unfortunately, this could get worse. So, enough on that. And again, it starts at the top. So it starts at the top, and when I'm talking about the top, it's the President of the United States. He's got to recognize that it is a problem, and then try to do something about it instead of. And I'm not talking about in this sight of trying to strong arm or try to put blame here or try to put blame there. Fix the problem. Everybody knows what the problem is. Try to fix it. And the problem is, I don't think he is capable of doing that. So enough on that. That was my 5-minute rant on that. Back to sports. Um, in case you haven't noticed, since now football is underway, at least preseason, the track and field world championships have been going on. um, in London this past week, and the final day is tomorrow. And I wanted to uh, take point out, since I pretty much am boycotting the NFL right now. I have been focusing on watching that since it's only here. It was only here for 10 days. After which I'll probably be watching a lot of baseball until, and some CFL, some Canadian Football League, until college football starts. Nevertheless, that has been going on. The great Usain Bolt is performing in his participating in his last track meet. He is retiring, and unfortunately, his retirement came to a tough end. He pulled a hamstring running the 4x100 relay finals, in which they were not able to finish because he hurt his hamstring running that final leg on that, in which Great Britain won the 4x100. The U.S. was second, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't even remember who was third. It might have been Japan. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, he didn't. Usain Bolt and the Jamaican team did not place or did not medal in that event, and nor did he win the 100 meter dash. He came in second to Justin Gatlin. So kind of a bittersweet end for him, but he's won 11 medals, 8 of them gold. Uh, Probably the most decorated, well, second most decorated, probably behind Carl Lewis. But when you talk about winning goals and what he's achieved, breaking records and winning world championships and Olympics, he's just been astounding in his career. I'm sure the American runners aren't going to miss him. Tyson Gay, uh, oh gee whiz, Justin Gatlin, they're not going to miss him. I think Justin Gatlin hasn't won much since Usain Bolt's been around. So, but nevertheless, a storied career. Great job by him. Basically there's him, Carl Lewis, and Jesse Owens, and of course, people are going to put him at the top for what he's done right now. But he's breaking the records of Carl Lewis, and Carl Lewis broke the records of Jesse Owens. So when you call people the greatest, all records are made to be broken, and I always like to go with the original to do it. And in this case, Jesse Owens won 4 gold medals in the 1936 Olympics. So he was the first to do it, and for me, he's always going to be the greatest. But I'm not going to sit here and argue and debate about anybody who wants to pick Usain Bolt or Carl Lewis. Nevertheless, great career for Usain Bolt. Tough ending for him, but I'm sure he'll be off to better things. Whether it be if he has some personal endeavors that he's trying to do, or some endorsement deals, whatever. So he will be fine. Yesterday, Ezekiel Elliott, the running back for the Dallas Cowboys, got a 6-game suspension by the NFL for basically his name, just for being in a bunch of crap, being a bunch of stuff, always for being in trouble, but not being convicted of anything. You heard it right. He hasn't been convicted of anything. The latest of his incidents was it sexual assault or just physical assault? Either way, it was some kind of an assault. The problem is he hasn't been convicted of anything, yet the NFL thought it was okay to give a 6-game suspension. I have a problem with it because my thing is you should not be punished for anything that you're not convicted of. That's just it. From a technical standpoint, every woman can yell out sexual assault, or can yell out sexual assault, and therefore your name can always come up. Now, for your name to always come up, yeah, I guess it might be a little suspect, but we also know that in some situations, not all, very small situations, not the big situations, but very small situations, some people can be vengeful, and they know that you, as a famous person, if news is put out there that you have done something, then that can tarnish your image. And guess what? You have 2 choices. You see it through, and you have to play proving yourself innocent, even though you're while presumed guilty, or you pay some money and make it go away. And that's a bad situation that sometimes these athletes are in. Some of these athletes are in. Not all of them, some of them. It's a bad situation, but because that's how the media handles it, that's what makes it bad. The media automatically says, hey, you've been accused of this. Therefore, you're guilty until proven innocent because it's now all splattered over the news. And you're slandered. If you end up being not guilty or there's nothing that ever comes, you never go to court for it, then you've basically been slandered. And that's not good, you know. And I wish I would like to see a player just see it through and sue somebody if they were wronged. And, that way people can understand and get better. But right now, people aren't trying to do that. Their thing is about, I need to make money, so I need to make this go away. And that's a bad thing. Now, for every guy who was doing the wrong thing, you get what you deserve. But in this particular case, if he's not convicted of anything, I don't think there should be a suspension. I also think that he won't get 6 games, even though they've given him 6 games. NFL, every time they've given 6 games, no player has served 6 games. Now, they've given more, and the players have served that amount. But every time they've given 6 games, the player doesn't serve 6 games. I think it'll be reduced to 4. I still think any suspension, if he's not convicted of anything, is warranted at all. I don't think anything is warranted at all. So I think it'll be reduced to 4. That'll help the Cowboys out. I think Cowboys will still go 2-2 in those 4 games if he misses 4 games. If he misses 6 games, I think they could go 3-3. And both of those are at best. I think that running game, they got the best line in the league. Darren McFadden is not bad, but he doesn't run as hard as Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Alfred Morris does. He's a great backup that they have there. So they can do a little 1-2 punch. Morris with the power, and then you got McFadden who can get through those holes and bust through those holes. And be quick once he gets through those holes. The trick is, got to get him through those holes. So it'll be interesting there. I think Cowboys still have the running game capable, but I think I'm going to give them 3-3. 3-3 if it's 6 games, and I'm going to give them 2-2 if it's 4 games. Could they sneak out a 4-2 or a 3-1? Yeah, definitely. Anything's possible. They can win them all, but they could also lose them all in the technical sense. So we'll see what happens with that situation, but I just think Roger Goodell done lost his mind on that. I think he just comes up with stuff and does it. So who knows with that guy? But I don't think it's warranted. I also heard that there were videos out about the bruises. The young lady who accused him of assault might have been. I'm just trying to figure out why they came out after the suspension. Assuming those were the bruises. But still, if he hasn't been convicted of anything, I'm sorry. I can't suspend you if by law you've done nothing wrong. I'm sorry. In more football news, the Bills traded Sammy Watkins to the Rams and Ronald Darby, Sammy Watkins, a receiver, to the Rams, and Ronald Darby, a cornerback or defensive back, to the Eagles. And the Eagles traded Jordan Matthews to the Bills. And in there's been some draft picks as well, but I just want to give you the names of the players. But there are some other draft picks in there. Sammy Watkins oft injured, and so the Bills probably saying they're going to cut their losses. I think they got a 6th-round draft pick for him and something else. Oh, they got Jordan Matthews, but they got a 6th-round draft pick for him from the Rams. If Watkins pans out, then the Rams make out good, and the Bills are off. If he doesn't pan out, then of course the Rams get stung again. Ronald Darby is a defensive back. From Florida State. I thought he had potential, but for some reason Bills couldn't get him to work in their system. The Eagles feel like they can get it done, so they're going to take him on and see what happens. As a matter of fact, one of the defensive back coach for the Eagles worked wonders for Cortland Finnegan, who they thought was done once he left the Titans. So Ronald Darby could have a rebirth by being with the Eagles. And then Jordan Matthews, nobody thinks the Bills, lose out on Jordan Matthews. He's a little older because they feel like Sammy Watkins still has some potential, still has some upside. He just had to stay healthy. Bills don't want to wait to have Jordan Matthews, but it's the Bills. Does it really improve their team? I don't know. But you get a draft pick and you get Jordan Matthews. You still get a receiver. Now you get a draft pick with it. Hey, all works out. So we'll see how it works out for the trade. But right now it's too early to call. We can do a lot of what ifs, but that's it right now. congratulations to a investment group led by Derek Jeter and Michael Jordan. They seem poised to buy the Miami Marlins for 1.2 billion. That's the baseball Miami Marlins. It's a group of 16 investors. Two big names there are Jordan and Jeter. Basically, the fans were tired of Jeffrey Loria just building a team up and then having a fire sale, and they just want to see if they can get some consistency like how they're doing in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. So Jeffrey Loria is finally giving them up. Jeffrey Loria, the Marlins were losing, I think, $1 million a month, and so maybe this investment group will change the direction of that. But we will see what happens. Jeter is poised to handle the baseball functions of the team, so I guess kind of like a general manager or hire the general managers and the coaches. So he'll handle the baseball functions of it. Everything else, marketing, what have you, because you're buying the whole team behind the whole organization. You have the stadium, whatever. That's going to be handled by something else. Michael Jordan is just being an investor. Um, his 2 years of playing for the Birmingham Barons in minor league baseball, I don't think is going to have much effect in this. But anyway, congratulations to them if everything goes through. It looks like it will. Your new owners of the Miami Marlins will have familiar names. Um, Basketball news: Kevin Durant had to speaking to the mic again yesterday to explain that he took a pay cut for others to get paid, and especially like the bench to get paid, get what they would do, what he felt they would do, and also to help the team win. Uh, I just got to say, Kevin Durant, everybody's going to always criticize you. Once you made this move, you you're going to get criticized. That's what happened to LeBron. That's what happens to people when they go to teams and it's loaded teams or what have, or you make them even more loaded. But the thing is, if you're comfortable with what you did, then you don't have to just defend yourself every time. Move on. You know, keep doing what you're doing. That's what you're on the team. You're happy. You could care less. You're winning championships. You should care less. And if anybody can't see that, hey, yes, you took a pay cut so that bitch could be good, so y'all can continue to win, then that's their problem. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword. One minute, if you try to take all the money, then they say, hey, you can't have a good team if you're taking all the money. And then the next minute, when you don't take all the money, then they still criticizing you, saying, hey, taking less so the team can be loaded. That's what you do. You can't have a good team if the top two players are making half the salary of the team. You can't do that. Somebody's got to make the sacrifice. Somebody's got to be sometimes what can be considered as a team player. To me, you're not a team player. To me, you're not a team player. I mean, to me, I'm saying you can't criticize you for not being a team player. If you make all the money, you get what you worth. You're the one who put the fans in the seats. But at the end of the day, whatever you're comfortable with, just do it. Quit trying to put the mic to your face, and then you end up saying something that you're going to have to defend later on. Case in point, he goes to India, the country of India, I guess for, some basketball goodwill. And he starts talking about how India's 20 years behind, and how it's bad conditions and stuff like that. Kevin Durant, it's India. It's not the U.S. There are some countries that aren't fully developed, not developed, but fully developed, like the U.S. is. And the U.S. has slums. If somebody took them to a slum neighborhood in the U.S., they could go back to India and say the same thing. Oh, U.S. is run down. Because there's plenty of run down areas in the country. Pick a city. Pick a city. There's some slum areas. So, again, they put the mic in your face and you said something stupid. Talk about what you went there for. Talk about how good the people were or how they were nice to you and how you would probably want to help build up those areas. Not talk about how bad they are. Really, dude? Really? Come on, man. Think it. Get you a PR person if you can't figure it out on your own. Come on, man. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to like you when you do stuff like that. Say stuff like that. Quit feel like you have to defend everything. And then the other thing is think before you talk. Be a little diplomatic if you have to. But hey, if you think about it, there are some bad areas in the world. And if you look in your own backyard, you got some bad areas too. So that means you don't talk about other people like that. Okay? Come on, man. Really? Get it together, bro. In hockey, uh, hockey says there's not going to be any, we're not allowing any NHL players to play in the Olympics in South Korea in February of 2018. And that's just a Gary Bettman decision and an owner's decision because all these players want to play in it. Um, one of the owners did say that, hey, if their players want to go play for their country, who am I to stop? What can I do? What am I do? Get fined? And the owner's not going to care, but he says he's going to let them go play. So maybe that's the easy answer to this. If all the players say they're going to go play and they don't care about the consequences, then Bettman will change his mind and give them that 17-day layoff like they gave him for the last Olympics. Problem is, according to Bettman, he says the owners don't want the 17-day layoff because players can get injured going to play in the Olympics. So they want to go play. If they didn't want to go play, then it would make sense. But since they want to go play, then guess what? You shouldn't be telling them that they can't play. It's supposed to be for the country, right? And in these cases, it's for all of their countries. Very diverse group of players play in the NHL, especially in Europe where hockey is Lord, it's king. So guess what? At the end of the day, they're going to go play whether you like it or not. But they've already made the schedule, and that schedule says there's no layoff for hockey. So teams could have players miss as many as 9 games. And they won't, and the owners are not going to fine them. So it could be interesting. We'll see how it plays out, but hockey would have to redo that schedule. NHL will have to redo that schedule if they decided to just let them play. Otherwise, for about 20 days in February, you're going to see some minor league hockey. Lastly, in football news, and like I said, sometimes I find a situation where I just got to jump on it. First off, let me just real quick. Melvin Gordon, my San Diego Chargers running back, um, has got a good present. His dad is getting out of prison after being in prison for 10 years for selling drugs. And his dad will finally get him to see professional football. He hasn't seen him play in 10 years, and Melvin Gordon was maybe, 24, 25 years old. So he basically hasn't seen this guy play college football or pro football. So that's a positive thing, good to see. Hopefully his father can stay out and see what his son does. But the good thing is that him and his son has a relationship, a positive relationship. So that is good to see. My last story of the day is pretty interesting. Like I said, sometimes if I hear something, I just got to comment on it, and then I got to give my own 2 cents on it, because sometimes I just got to see if it's right, if it makes sense to me, like everybody else. It also happens that this player went to my favorite college, and that was Florida State. So I took a little bit more interest in it, but my rebuttal here or my response here is valid. The Buccaneers waived their kicker, Roberto Aguayo. Roberto Aguayo was drafted by the Bucs last year in the 2nd round, and he's probably the highest kicker drafted in, I don't know. Well, he's the highest kicker drafted since 2000, when the Raiders drafted Sebastian Janikowski, also a Florida State alumni. And so he is the highest drafted kicker in the last 16 years. And so, everybody, the concern was that he had not been kicking well in the preseason, and he actually missed 9 field goals in the regular season last year. Had the lowest percentage of field goals made in the NFL last year. I think he made 94% of his extra points, but I think he missed 2. The point I'm saying here is that I didn't feel like they gave him enough chance. Just 1 year. When you make an investment, you make somebody a 2nd round pick. I don't care who it is, and in this case, it's a kicker. You probably should give him the benefit of the doubt at least 1 more year. So everybody's saying, "Well, Antoine, why are you so hard? Why you defend him so hard? Because he's Florida State alumni?" Well, I think I'm defending him so hard because the team has just decided to make him the scapegoat. He's not kicking well, yeah, but Was he really kicking that bad? Yes. 22 of 31 says you're kicking bad. But I decided to go a little bit further inside the numbers and find out something. The Buccaneers lost 7 games last year. 7. They went 9-7. They lost 7 games last year. 3 of the games they lost by 15, 20, and 33 points. In those 3 games, Roberto Aguayo only attempted 1 field goal, and he missed it. And that was in the game where they lost by 33 points. So, in those 3 games, in my opinion, Roberto Aguayo is not responsible for any losses. Any of those losses. He only had 1 field goal attempt. Okay? So that leaves 4 games, right? In the 4 games that the Buccaneers lost by 7 points or less, Roberto Aguayo was 4 of 5 kicking. Now, in the game they lost to the Rams, I think it was by 5 points, 37-32. He was 0 for 1 kicking. So if he made that field goal, based upon the point margin, the Bucs still lose. Now, if a Buck fan wanted to make the case that that game is on him, who knows how it played out, then okay, I give you 1 so far of the 4 losses that I've mentioned. But for my numbers, that's not even on him. The other 3 losses, he was 1 for 1 kicking, 2 for 2 kicking, and 1 for 1 kicking again. So he didn't cost him any loss in those games. So at least 6 of the 7, and arguably 7 of the 7 games, Roberto Aguayo didn't cost him any game. Yet, he missed 9 field goals, but he didn't cost them any game. His misses came in games they won. So what are you going to do? Argue, well, we could have won by more. Now, you're not going to do that. Because usually when you want to say somebody is playing bad, it's usually because they're costing you a win. And based upon these numbers, he never did that. What was the real argument? I mean, what was the real problem, Antoine? Well, remember I mentioned those 3 losses where they lost by more than 7 points? They lost by 20. It was 27-7. Ineptitude on offense got them only 7 points. They lost another game 40-7. Their quarterback threw 4 interceptions. And that was the game that Aguayo tried his only try. He was 0 for 1. 4 interceptions by the quarterback. And then the last game was 43-28. Aguayo did not try a field goal in that game, and they lost by 15 points. The point of that is 43, 27, and 40. 43, 27, and 40. That's 110 points in 3 games. That's a 36 point average. 36 points a game average. You're not winning no games giving up 36 points a game. If your defense giving up 36 points a game. So those 3 losses, throw them out the window. Now the 4 losses that were by 7 points or less, they gave up 26, which isn't bad, 30, 31, and 37 to a team that was one of the worst teams in the league last year, the LA Rams. You gave up 37 to the Rams. But you're going to blame the kicker, who in all 7 of those losses was 4 of 6. And in the losses that were touchdown or less, he was 4 of 5. Let's just say I hope it all pans out, works out for you. But like I said, if you're going to say it's the kicker's fault, have proof that it's the kicker's fault. I don't care about him missing preseason field goals or him missing field goals and losses that they haven't been winning, that they weren't going to win anyway. But hey, you made an investment and you gave him 1 year. Give him 2 years. Would you drop your quarterback after 1 bad year? If you drafted him as a number 1 pick? No, you're not. You're gonna give him at least 1 more year. You made an investment. So if I'm gonna blame anybody, I can blame your defense, or I can blame management. The reason why is because You drafted him in the second round. Guess what? There were no other kickers drafted in the draft last year. There were no other kickers drafted other than Roberto Aguayo, which means you could have got him in the third round, the fourth round, the fifth round, sixth round, and hey, you might even been able to get him undrafted. So that's management's fault. You drafted a kicker, and he was the only kicker drafted, and you got him in the second round. Who else was going to get him? They're going to get him, make a trade? Nope. Nobody else needed a kicker. That's why nobody drafted one. You guys were the only guys who felt like you needed a kicker, so you drafted him. And you actually got rid of Matt Bryant, and he went to the Falcons and had one of his best seasons. I know because he was on one of my fantasy squads. So I just thought it was interesting how pointing out, at least in this situation, that was a bad decision. So you blame your porous defense on your previous coach, Lovie Smith, and in these 7 losses, they probably averaged well over 30 points a game giving up. And now, you just felt like blaming somebody else for something, so you blame your kicker, but your kicker was not to blame for any single loss that you had last year. That's about all I can say on that. In the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of each other. God bless you in the world, because we definitely need it at this time. And free Colin Kaepernick. Peace.